During World War II, we really hit peak in humanity. So starting off with animal bombs, we have the anti-tank bomb dog. So the Soviets had an idea to send a dog with a bomb on it to drop it under enemy tanks. But it actually went a little bit like this. But it wasn't just the Soviets blowing up animals. We have the Americans coming in with the bat bomb.
Good pick. I like my bombs organic as well.
Which is a timed ensnaring device strapped to a bat, which was planned to be used on Tokyo, which had primarily wooden buildings. And this is where the bats come in. They would fly over Tokyo at night and drop them. And when dawn comes around, the bats would find an attic to sleep in, and then they would blow up and start fires. But it never actually happened since, for one, the bats accidentally got released and they blew up a fuel tank on one of the sites for the American Air Base. And instead of doing that, they decided to do this.
Oh wow, what is that?
But it gets stranger still. We have the Pigeon guided missile. Yo, what was that? That is way too close. So the idea behind this was to show the target image on the screen and move it. And every time the pigeon pecked the image, it centered again. And some seed was released for it, reinforcing the guidance towards the target. And then on top of that, they would have a total of 3 pigeons trained, so if one straight off target, the other 2 would punish them for it. If it didn't get cancelled, I would imagine it would go a little bit like this.
Must get seed! Must get seed! Must get seed!
But animals have been used in war forever. I mean, the original war vehicle used to be elephants as tanks, and then when it comes to combat vehicles, we had the camels and horses, which ended up getting an upgrade with the scythe chariot. But after all, there ended up being a weapon to counter them called the man catcher, which is a stick with a spring-loaded door on it that once wrapped around a person will lock them in it and make them easy to pull off their animal, leaving them trapped on the ground.
I'm going to die!
You're right.
But now onto the sneakiest weapon, starting with La Petite Protector gun ring. And as the name says, it's a ring that's also a gun, but it uses a 5mm cartridge, meaning that it's usually not gonna do very much damage. I mean, it might stop a tin can, but hey, if you ever do a fist bump, it might hurt quite a bit. Alright, give me your money.
He has no clue.
Ow, what the? Bro, you moron. I didn't want to do that. And hey, if that's not effective and stealthy enough, there's always the everyday items such as the lipstick gun. And if you were to put on your morning makeup and pick the wrong lipstick, I'd imagine it'd go a little like this. Now for the assassin classic, the Bulgarian Umbrella, which is an umbrella that shoots a tiny pellet covered with an insanely potent toxin called ricin. The crazy part about this is that pellet will feel like a bee sting, but then about 12 hours to maybe some days later, the effects of the toxin will start happening. And by day 5, there's little chance you will be alive. And since this is very rare, there's little chance the hospital will be looking at this as the source of your symptoms.
What a lovely day to be on this plane. It's a dark shame you won't live to see another day. As time passes on, you'll see the veins start to burn. Your heart, oh boy, it will be engorged. Now I must say, I hope I don't see you again someday.
Now one that we all know, but a certified hood classic nonetheless. The Trojan Horse. I mean, it's so famous it became a brand of... For those who don't know, during the Trojan War, the Greeks left behind a giant wooden horse statue and took their boats and pretended to leave, and the Trojans took the horse statue into their city as a trophy. But the catch is, the horse statue was hollow and Greek soldiers were hiding in it. So at night, the soldiers came out of the statue and opened the gates to the Trojan city, letting in the Greek army, which in turn absolutely wrecked the Trojans, who were sleeping all snug, thinking they won the war.
Bravo 6. Going dark. Don't even think about it.
Now if you think that's stealthy, wait till you hear about blinding weapons. And as the name says, it's just a laser weapon that makes someone blind, so it's easy to be stealthy when they literally can't see you. But they are against the Geneva Convention as in 1998. But if it was allowed, I'd imagine it'd go a little like this. Alright lads, due to a new threat, we have released a new piece of gear. We call them Aviator Glasses. So before all this modern stuff, we had some very odd melee weapons, starting with the Madle, which was an Aztec wooden club with multiple obsidian blades, supposedly capable of cutting a horse's head off with one swipe. Now how about something a little more flexible? We have the
Get back to work.
which is pretty much a sword and a whip at the same time.
Okay. On second thought, You can take a 10-minute break.
It's one of the last things taught in Indian martial arts, since it requires knowledge on both whips and swords to wield this beast of a weapon. I challenge you to a duel.
Alright, why not? Oh, no way.
Now onto the strange vehicles of war. We have the laser plane, also known as the Yale 1. I guess pilots just got sick of kids shining lasers at them, so they decided to make one they can shine back.
Sir, there's a laser beam shined at us.
That fool. But no, the reality is they were used to destroy missiles, but clearly not effective enough since it got discontinued. Now, I saw this one a while back.
Oh, ma vaffanculo! Ma sta un po' attento, coglione! Vaffanculo! Adesso te la faccio vedere io!
A few moments later.
Sì!
And here we are today. To my surprise, to find out there's an official version of it called the Vespa 150 Tap, which was an anti-tank scooter. Now I'm gonna be real, if my tank got taken out by one of these, I deserve to hold the L at that point. But it is tricked out with an M20 75mm recoilless rifle with high explosive anti-tank rounds, so to be fair, it is tricked out.
Skip it up and that.
The Iraq kids do nothing against me when I'm wearing my Dorbol merch.
Where did you get it?
Dorbol.com.
Great.
Now we have something that was way before its time, the Hitler VZ-1 Honey, which is pretty much a flying platform, so if you're sick of your enemies drop-shotting you, well, ascend beyond their understanding. I mean, this was made in 1956, so I'd honestly call this the first model for a jetpack. Now we have some strange guns, starting with the Krumilov curved rifle, which was intended to be used to shoot around corners, but there were a couple problems. One, the barrel could only handle the stress of max 300 rounds, and two, when the bullet hit the curve, it shattered the bullet, unintentionally making it a shotgun. Just another day in war. Yo, what is that? Here we are with the Harmonica Gun, which was built in 1742 and it flexed on the revolver lad since instead of the standard 6-shooter, this thing held 10 rounds. But even with all that, it never hit the mainstream. My guess is because what kind of holster would you use for this thing? Alright, partner. On the count of 3, we shoot. 1, 2, 3. Easy. But the strangest weapon ever would be to dose the enemies with the things mentioned in this video right here.